Hi, it's Caryn, MacGrandle, and I've been doing a lot of talking lately about forming goddess community and it being time for that. There is a wonderful podcast that I just did on Goddess Matters with Annie Finch and the weekly Goddess Matters, Annalisa Deer and Andrea Slominski, all doctors except me. I will give the link in the thing, but I also realized that I should specify more what I mean by goddess community because that brings up a lot of different things to different people. There's Glastonbury Goddess, which is full of amazing, I haven't been there, but so I've heard, so I've seen, so I've interacted. Amazing goddess, yearly annual gathering and temples and surrounded by the goddess. But I actually have something else in mind. I have, and that's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I just want to build more everyday places where the goddess has found her way into it. So the first thing, and I'm just going to share, I did a little post with different things I thought of. The first thing is taking back that word goddess. In our society, goddess is sexualized. When you say goddess, lingerie is what you think of. And I don't mean goddess in that sense. It most definitely is very sensual. And, let's leave the sex in there, but let's add the sensual to it and not in a dysfunctional, but a functional way. So this picture is of three of my amazing goddess friends, and Gina Martin, Marie Nazon, and Adhi TwoOwls at Forest in the Village, which is happening in July in New Hampshire, and you can still register for that. I would encourage it because you would find you would definitely find the goddess there. So, recognizing divinity within yourself or others as feminine in some way, as an archetype, a myth, a deity. And I know there's a lot of discussion about the three. My friend Caryn Tate has a book about it, and all three are valid, in my opinion. Whatever way you find God, the goddess, divinity, you need to be able to find it with some feminine pronouns. Done a lot of reading about, women who grew up in Christianity being relegated the same way that your skin color, you're relegated to in our popular culture over the last thousands of years to secondary status. And we have to be able to see ourselves as God, as goddess, as they can't just say, well, that's what he says. Well, she said things too. So I put goddess is not confined by a religion. It is a way of seeing, of moving through the world, of understanding. Learning the ancient stories. We are forged by the stories we tell ourselves. In this last decade that I have been doing this, there are times when I have reached within myself and found strength that I really needed by remembering and calling upon Sekhmet or Kali or other goddess archetypes, deities, or myths, whatever the heck you want to call it. And Jesus understood that as we learn through stories. It's just that some of and there are stories out there that are very valid and very wonderful and very true. But we need balance with our stories. Uh, Three, dancing, singing, drumming without regard for your skill level. We are in this society where, especially now with AI, everything is so goddamn perfect. And I personally find it annoying. I personally find it refreshing to see the real, the authentic, messy hair. Doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be you. Uh, Dancing, singing, drumming. So we've created this world. I see it in my kids where unless they're perfect, they hesitate to do these things and they're so healthy for you and they feel so good and they're a great way to move through life. And, I went to my daughter's piano recital and I watched these kids who are amazing and what joy they get from making music, from singing, from dancing. All three of those are an essential part of human experience. And if you're not doing them regularly, you're missing out. Acknowledging the seasons and the cycles. So much of our popular culture has been ignoring and fighting off age. And, that's the beauty of life, the seasons, going out to the garden and watching the peppers grow, and the season turning, the fall, the leaves, the winter, every single season. And women, the divine feminine, we are more suited to cyclical nature of life, stewarding the land, not conquering it, but working in cooperation with the earth. It just feels so much better. And, the earth needs us, the land needs us, and we need it. It's a mutual, reciprocal relationship that needs to be honored. I am not saying, everybody live off grid. No. Cities are fine. What we have built is amazing and should be honored and recognized as such. But at the same time, it's not, we shouldn't be abusing the land. It's the Boy Scout motto, leave it as you found it or better. Again, there's so much to be said about balance and taking the good from things. Getting into nature as sacred is number 7. And I just wrote another blog post about nematona and the sacred grove. And this is something that I grew up in Plano, Texas, surrounded by concrete. And when I finally got to the woods, there's something about the woods just being amidst the trees. The Japanese know it, forest bathing, scientifically proved that it lowers your heart rate to be out there. And I think a lot of people discovered this during COVID, how much we need to be out in nature, but not just walking through it, talking about our ordinary lives, but actually slowing down. I, yeah, I read that it takes 12 minutes for 12 minutes of sitting there in silence for the forest and the woods to accept you. And I've done that before. I do it regularly, actually. You sit out there, and after a period of time, 12 minutes ish, the animals come out. You start to see things that you didn't notice before. They hide, as you walk through it, talking about your ordinary life. But when you sit there, you notice these things and you become one with nature around you. And that's number 8, shifting your consciousness in some form or manner. My father died suddenly of a heart attack when I was in my 20s, and the anxiety that I faced as a result of that, due to lots of different life circumstances, I started and found meditation. So I have been meditating for 35 plus years, and I'm accomplished enough at it now, and I do it regularly enough that I know that when you sit there and you close your eyes and you go within and you pay attention to your breathing and the sounds around you, at the end of the meditation, when you open your eyes, you're in a different place. You're in a different world. Same thing happens in circles when you're with people, with other humans. It multiplies this. When you can get to that altered state of consciousness, humans have always known this. Unfortunately, sometimes we get there through not so healthy ways, drugs and alcohol and excessive shopping and whatever. But when you can learn to get there through healthy ways, it's so essential to a balanced, healthy life. Being in regular community with others, both in the sacred and in the ordinary. Again, something we've moved away from, but outside your immediate family that lives in your house, how many people regularly come over your home? So, not just meeting together in circles, but meeting together to cook or do something ordinary. And I'm not going to say I've mastered this. I have an extremely busy life, and I've gotten pretty good at ignoring the piles and the mess until the weekend comes and I have days to take care of it. But what I consider is when you get to the point with somebody that you don't see the piles when they come over. Normally, if somebody comes over, that's when I see the mess in my house and I'm immediately apologetic. But with somebody that is part of your community, they know that's just ordinary life. Just ordinary life. It's not perfect. It's not everything picked up all the time. Uh, incorporating touch into your relationships. Again, just saying that, we are so um, stigmatized by, you say touch and you start thinking of pedophiles and dirty old men. Well, we need to take that back. Along with the word goddess, we need to take back the fact that humans, we need touch. And if you're not in a relationship with somebody where you're regularly getting that touch, you need a back rub. You need a hug. You need your hand held sometimes. And we need to create a world where that's normal and accepted. Allowing others, but with firm boundaries. So again, that's what every crayon's not the same color. Every crayon's not the same, and that's what makes life interesting. What a fucking boring world it would be if everybody were just like you. So as long as you're not hurting others, we need to get back to a world where we allow respect and honor each other while keeping our boundaries. Very important, those boundaries, right? Letting emotions, anger, fear, joy run through you. Again, so much of popular culture has been ignore the emotions, conquer them. Be a good girl, be a good boy, sit there quietly. I doing these circles, I've always I finally realized how much we are taught. Don't scream, don't yell, don't make noise. Just, blend in, blend in, blend in, be a sheeple, follow the masses. I'm not telling you to run around screaming your head off. That's not good either. But we need to learn healthy ways of letting anger run through us, of letting sadness run through us, of enjoying the joy that runs through us. And that's part of the goddess is and the divine feminine is recognizing, honoring, and allowing emotions. And then the last one I have put down here is accepting and honoring birth, death. I have more gray hair than my mother because she dyes her hair. But a long time ago, I started seeing women with gorgeous gray hair, and I embrace the fact that I'm getting older. I embrace my wrinkles. I embrace my imperfections. And, women, at one time, we stood at the doorway of birth and death. Those are liminal spaces. And we need to take that back because they are powerful beyond measure. And I've heard stories and stories of people who attended the death of their loved one. And it was one of the most profound experiences of their life. That minute when we shed this human body, I have friends, I have communities that I know that approach birth and death in completely different manners than the sterilized, removed what is accepted in popular culture. And it's so much more healthy. It's so much more healthy. That's what we women do. We usher in life and we usher it out. Anyhow, so those are the things that I see as making up goddess community. And again, I see this need to build it everywhere. I've had an app, the divinefeminineapp.com. I'm encouraging you to visit it. It's free and you can put down your name or you can see who is in your area, the local web, and connect. We need to make this everywhere.